Welcome to Power Hour, where the editors of Power Sports Business interview the movers and shakers of the power sports industry.
Everybody, it's Brendan Baker with Power Sports Business with another Power Hour, and we've got a special guest today for basically our first episode of the year. We've done our previous one, it was posted earlier this year, but that was done in 2025. So welcome to 2026, and we've got Lindsay Scheltema from the USMCA today. And Lindsay has a pretty varied background in racing and in coach. You know, she's a former paddock tour manager for Monster Energy Supercross. She's a former media operations manager for Arena Cross. She's also a former Miss Arena Cross from 2009 to 2013, and a former women's pro motocross competitor. So she's done a lot, and that's only scratching the surface, I know. So we were just talking earlier. So Lindsay, welcome for one. Yeah. And we were just talking earlier about your MIC involvement, because now the MIC has acquired the USMCA.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. The United States Motorcycle Coaching Association is the USMCA. We've been around since 2016, and our story's really cool. It was kind of like, so what happened was the KTM group was bringing back high school motocross in California. And so this was a thing that was in the 70s. It was wildly successful, wildly popular.
Oh, yeah.
And rightfully so, super cool. Yeah. So they had everything done. The only difference from the 70s to today is there's a lot more paperwork, a lot more tape. So they got really far in the process, believe it or not. And then the final thing is with the athletic association for the high school, they said, hey, you left this field blank where it says coaching association. And they said, well, there's no coaching association for motocross. And they said, well, in order to be considered a USA sport, you're required to hold a coaching association, to hold your coaches accountable, hold your coaches to a standard. And they were like, whoa. So they were like, we have a bigger issue at stake. Like, well, rewind. So they put the high school motocross on pretty much a big hold, because they were like, we need to do this for the industry. So they set out, and at the same time, the president and CEO of the KTM group was John Eric Burleson. He was trying to find a coach for his son. Okay. And so he went to his wife and said, hey, I'm going to hire Nate Ramsey to be our son's coach. And for anybody that's in the industry, they know Nate Ramsey, Supercross champion, you know, well known in the industry. And his wife said, who's he? And he's like, you don't, Nate, he's a Supercross champion. And they were like, she's like, I don't care. What kind of training does he have to coach my son? Has he gone, is he CPR certified? Can he pass a background check? Like, asked all these rightful mother questions. And John Eric was like, wow, I get it. So he's like, I get it. So this was all happening at the same time. So it was honestly kind of like a perfect storm. It just started the USMCA. And the thing is with the USMCA, we were always trying to find a home. So it started as a volunteer project for many, many years. And what happened was actually, the MIC blends into this, because what happened was the KTM group that was volunteering their time to work on this, they went to the MIC and said, hey, here's this idea. We need it for the industry. It's for the betterment of the industry. You want it? And they're like, wow, that's incredible. Yes, we love it. We fully support it. And actually, they gave us a grant to start. So the NMSF gave us a grant to get started, which was incredible. But they said, we don't have the manpower for this right now, so we're going to let you keep doing it. But keep up the good work.
And we'll give you some money, but you guys get to run it all. Yeah. Which is
right, but you know what? They're incredible, because they also donated a lot of their IT time to help us create our first website. So they did a lot of behind the scenes stuff to help us get started. They just couldn't commit their people for this, which I get. It's another thing. And we went to the AMA, and they were like, we love this, we endorse this, but keep doing on the good work.
Yeah, keep up the good
So
fight, right? You know?
yeah, so I came on board in 2020. It's myself and Mark Wilson. He handles more of the technology side, and really that's our goal. We certify motorcycle coaches across the country, and we connect riders to certified coaches on our forward-facing platform, which is motorcyclecoaching.org. So we have been certifying coaches since
So,
2016, and it's just been going great.
and I would say, you brought up a good point, and that is that, all these other sports have like coaching associate, they've got the standards, industry standards, and, football coaches and basketball coaches, and I'm sure they all go to seminars and webinars and training, and, I know a lot of people, even like on the umpire side, they have to have very, you know, good training and background checks and all these
Well, and
things.
that's just for volunteer, like even for
Yeah.
volunteering. So if you're a t-ball coach for your kids' baseball team,
Yep.
you have to go through training. Like
Yeah.
and that's just volunteering. And so, we did something that needed to be done a long time ago, and I'm proud to say where we are today. I mean, we've come a long ways, and we still have a long ways to go, but I mean, it's just raising
Yeah.
awareness. And then to go back to the Motorcycle Industry Council, we were acquired by them a year ago today, and that's been just incredible. And what that means is this is our house. This is where we live. We live we are a part of the MIC. We are just an umbrella under the association. So we're a year in now, and we really didn't publicly announce it until last fall. But I mean, it's been an incredible place, and we're excited to be here. And what it means for us is just a lot more opportunities. I mean, we're just, we can be involved with everybody. We have a lot more opportunities to network, to hopefully provide our coaches with more benefits.
Yeah.
And like AIM Expo, that's a huge benefit for us as these relationships and building these relationships, raising awareness of who we are, why we exist. So it's an opportunity for us to be on a little bit larger platform to raise awareness and get more people on board with what we're doing and our mission.
Let me ask you this: is USMCA, is it really dedicated to more dirt bike riding, motocross riding, or is it any kind of riding, off-road trail riding, any kind of motor two-wheeled?
All disciplines, all disciplines. So we have two different certification options. I struggled there because I was going to say three, but we have a dirt bike certification, a sport bike certification, and then a dual certified. So you can be dual certified in
Okay.
sport and dirt.
Yeah.
So that's what that means, but it's the same. It's just doing dirt bike and sport bike.
Yeah.
We promote closed course trainings. So the difference between us, because I get this question a lot, the difference between us and the Motorcycle Safety Foundation
Hmm.
is we don't handle anything with licensing. So we are strictly coaching. We do not tell our coaches how to coach. We do not tell them what discipline of riding they coach, and we believe that's up to the coach. So
Yeah.
we have recreational coaches, we have enduro, GNCC, off-road, motocross, trials, even adventure style. And then we have a lot of track day organizations that are under our organization.
Okay.
And
Wow, that's great.
yeah, so we are primarily, though, I think we are about 74-26 as far as our percentage is concerned. So we are 74% dirt bike certified coaches,
Yeah.
26% sport bike.
Okay. Well, in dirt biking, let's put it this way: motocross is a very demanding type sport that takes a lot of training and skill to learn. Not that you can't, not putting anything down with, road racing and track riding, but, those are different kind of disciplines for sure. And I feel like, yeah, and looking at your leadership team, some of the people you have, Daniel Blair on there, you've got, uh, uh, who else is on? Just some of these
We
big
have Jeff,
Nathan
yeah, Jeff
Reese,
Emick,
Jeff
and
Emick. Yeah, Jeff Emick is on there, and so some of these guys are like big time, motocrossers. They're supercross champions, So,
There's a lot of people that believe in the program, and that's we're very appreciative and for that support. They've been involved since the beginning. So I mean, Jeff is one of our founding members, and he's been heavily involved since the beginning. He really truly believed in setting a standard to motorcycle coaching, and especially, and then John Eric Burleson. I mentioned his story at the beginning of this up here is, he was looking so desperately. So, and that's kind of where I go into the twofold. So we certify coaches across the country, and then we connect riders. So we certify and we connect. That's kind of our slogan is, so we have a forward facing platform called motorcyclecoaching.org, and it's an app and it's also a website, and all of our coaches have profiles on motorcyclecoaching.org. So currently now today we have 435 active certified coaches on that website. You can message them for free, create a profile for free, and just see who's in your area, see what's available. A lot of our coaches actually put their classes on there, so you can look up by coach or class and see what classes are available, what coaches are available, and what kind of specialties they have. So, like we mentioned, the different specialties of dirt bike riding, they put down what they are specializing in and what they're good at coaching, because there's some coaches that prefer coaching,
or maybe more motocross type, more.
Yep.
I'm sure even supercross, there's a certain skill set for riding indoors versus outdoors,
There is. And we have a lot of coaches in the Ohio area, Pennsylvania area, that in Wisconsin, that coach primarily indoors in the wintertime. And so we have coaches for every discipline of riding and for different skill levels. So if you're just starting out, or if you're that pro rider looking to get to that next step. So if you're an A rider looking to get to that pro level, we have coaches for every skill level, every age group, and we're in 48 different states across America.
That's incredible. Well, I started out and, I'm a car racer and started out go-karts and all that, my dad was my coach, for that time. But then when I moved into cars, racing formula cars, I went to racing school, and I had coaches. Once I got in, my dad was always my coach, but having real coaches, professional coaches critiquing you and telling you to do, the techniques and the way you need to see things and kind of the mental approach and everything. It brought me to a whole new level that I don't think I would have been able to reach on my own, with just even my dad, who's a great racer, but, you're invested too heavily in that relationship,
Well, and you bring up a great point. It was your dad, and there's a lot of emotions. Your dad wears many hats. Your dad wore many hats. And that's where one of the things that we do is we require reference checks. So we call people that have been coached. A lot of them for the dirt bike are parents of riders, and that's the biggest thing is these parents have incredible track records. They have incredible results. They've had a very great career as a racer, but their kid will not listen to them at all. Right. And I feel the same thing. And that's the biggest thing is your parents, you may know a lot, but not oftentimes do the kids want to listen because they listen to you for everything else.
And you're like, I've heard this one already. Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah.
It's just, it makes me laugh every time with the reference calls because they're like, we told them the same thing, but it came from Joe, and Joe knows everything.
When I was a little kid racing quarter midgets, it's a little 20th of a mile oval little car. The dads, it was more of a dad sport almost than the kids. Like a lot of the kids, they're like, I just want to go play and whatever. But the dads would jump on the track and point to where you're supposed to put the car and turn in. And we remember one of the dads got hit. His son hit him by accidentally. He's in the middle of the track and the kid hit him, broke his leg.
Wow.
So I think the dad kind of figured out, maybe I'm a little too
maybe I'm too involved.
Too involved, exactly.
Wow.
I do think that there's a, if we're going to grow the sport, and grow the motorcycling as a whole and get in new riders, we need to train them too, because nobody is going to stick around if you don't feel like you know what you're doing, you're not comfortable, or you just don't have the understanding of, the right dangers and the right approaches to things, you're not going to stick around. You're not going to be a lifetime motorcyclist.
No, and that's our goal. And that is our overall goal as the USMCA is we want to grow the sport of motorcycling, and we believe that you can do that through receiving good quality coaching. And the thing is we want, like, when 2020 happened, I mean, nobody knew what was going on, what to expect, and then boom, the motorcycle industry just
Yeah.
soared, and we didn't know what to do with it. And that was our perfect opportunity because we were receiving all these people into motorcyclecoaching.org, all these people with no experience and just wanting to learn how to ride their motorcycle because that was the one thing you could do without a mask and without people telling you couldn't do something. And that was their one thing. And that brought so many people together. And that's where we want to capitalize on all that. And just, we want to continue that momentum. And that's where coaching is so important. And I remember when you and I were at AIM Expo, we were talking about the dealers and where the dealerships fit into all this. And the secret sauce is motorcyclecoaching.org. And that's what I want to keep explaining to people is if you're a dealership out there and if you're a salesman specifically trying to sell these motorcycles off the floor, such a good selling point is, hey, look at this. If you're a new rider, if you want some more coaching, if you want to get better, and here, go to motorcyclecoaching.org because they're going to feel automatically like they're receiving something from you, that they're not, obviously they're going to, probably write you a check for that motorcycle, but you're giving them advice. You want to see them succeed as a dealer because honestly, you want to continue their business. And if you create that relationship and if you create that trust from the beginning with that prospective rider, that's the money right there. So the more you know about the local coaches in your area, the more helpful you can be as a salesperson to make that sale.
So a dealer should really start looking at, I think that's a good point you make. If they spend some time looking at the coaching in their area on USMCA.org, is that
on motorcyclecoaching.org?
Motorcyclecoaching.org. Okay, yeah. So make sure we get that right. Motorcyclecoaching.org. But, there's a whole list on here of, finding a coach. So you can type in, it looks like you can, type in parameters to find a coach in your area, to, like say you're in Ohio or a zip code, you can type in and see. And then, a lot of times a dealer might even know some of these guys,
Exactly.
He already knows a few of them. So, having a coach available because, just learning how to go through the gears and ride around in your backyard, it's only going to last for so long for these kids, and then they're like, on to the next, but.
And we don't want to lose that. So the more the dealership can help with that and just say, hey, like, what is your skill level? Like, and just start that conversation because then you're going to get that level of trust. And then and then you can say, hey, well, there's this app called motorcyclecoaching.org. You can get connected to the coach in your area. So even if they've traveled a few hours away, like, hey, when you get home, look and see who the coach is closest to you. And like you said, you can enter in your city, you can enter your zip code. If you're in it'll geo-target to wherever you are by default. So but it's just a great opportunity. And, maybe if you're a dealership listening and you want to become a coach, like maybe you've already done it a little bit on the side, well, then get certified. And that's where you'll go to USMCA.org. That is our certification platform. And that's where you'll go through. And like I said, that's
just certification entail. What do you?
Great question. So to become a certified coach, first you have to be 18 or older. But everything is done through our portal. So it's a one-stop shop for everything. You go through a background screening, an abuse prevention training program, and then you go through CPR and first aid. You go through training to help manage and detect concussions, heat illness, and cardiac issues. There are 4 questions that we ask, and there's some small quizzes, but really there's a lot more that goes into coaching than just being a good rider.
Right.
There's a lot of hypothetical situations that happen, and that's what those questions are for. We want to really get you thinking about things. So one of the questions is like, and I'm paraphrasing, but like, who's in your corner? when you're a coach and you're at if you're at a track, or, if you're at a speedway, where's the near, like, who are you going to call? Like, who's your ambulance?
Right.
How far away is the hospital? Who's on your team? Who's on your speed dial? Like, what's going to happen? Do you have an AED on site? Do you have, do you have anything on site, a medical bag? And so it's just things that we have you think about it as a coach before you're getting certified, because that's an important thing to have in your corner. And so we just really try to encourage coaches to help with that and just kind of raise more awareness, because we want to make sure that our coaches are prepared.
And so what I think I understand, though, is you're kind of facilitating this process for coaches to become, certified, except, so a mom, like, say, John Eric Burleson's wife, looking for a coach for their son would be like, yeah, well, this guy, he's got the background. He's already been cleared through all this, so we know he's, not a serial killer or whatever, or he doesn't
That's the
have some
biggest
criminal
thing
background, and
Yeah, you want to make sure that everybody's covered, and that would have gone so much better for her had she had just known that. And so that's a core reason for our existence. And then the last part of this is our coaches are all held to a certain standard. So, the part of being a network is coaches talk. And if they see somebody recently get certified and they don't believe that there's something good about this person, I get a lot of complaints, believe it or not. So it's not just like you become certified, because that's the thing is, not just anybody and everybody can be certified. And that is a very true statement. We have made errors in the past, and it's crazy because the system works. Coaches hold each other accountable.
Well,
we will receive an
review
email
type thing for sure that I think
and that's what we need, because
powerful.
when there's 435 coaches across America, and then we certify somebody that probably did something that we didn't know about, we will rerun a background check. That's the biggest thing is, like, we will do the steps because we want to make sure everybody's safe at the end of this. And that's why we exist is, we want to make it right. So we do get complaints. We do get people that we get other coaches that talk about things, but if they have a rightful reason, we'll investigate for sure.
Setting their curriculum, they can coach, they're free to coach how they want to teach and all that, but obviously some coaches are more effective than others and maybe have a different style. I think finding a coach and some that coaching and student or player type relationship, athlete relationship is paramount to success. So
it is. And that's what I say too. It's not a one size fits all type of network. That's why I always say, like, hey, try around with other coaches. And even on those reference calls that I mentioned earlier, is we'll get these parents that said, hey, I tried X, Y, and Z coach too. I see that they're all certified and nothing wrong with them. It's just this coach fit better.
Yeah.
And this coach worked better for my son. And that's what I like to hear is, there's nothing wrong. Yeah. It's just people connect differently with other people.
I've definitely had that experience myself where just one coach just seems like they get it. They get you more, they know what it's like they're kind of in your head almost. They know how to extract the right things, then there's the others that just, that they don't work. They may be really, really qualified, but you're just not getting as much out of it. So I think that it's a really great organization to have and a great thing for this industry that not enough people, and I'm hoping that dealers see this and are going to get more involved and at least start going on your motorcyclecoaches.org webpage. I plugged that in there for you, I think, right?
Motorcyclecoaching.org.
Motorcycle coaching. I knew I'd get it right. Okay, motorcycle.
You're going to get it. But yes, motorcyclecoaching.org is where you go to look at the coaches in your area, get informed, get educated. And we just actually, we are releasing this month some coach marketing materials. So we're doing the same thing. We're encouraging our coaches to go visit their local dealers, print out marketing materials for their business and for their coaching, and try to work on that relationship, because it's all about relationship building and making sure that you have the right people in your corners. So
Yeah.
we're working with our coaches on that too. So we have monthly coach calls that are great networking opportunities for our coaches. We're trying to educate them, trying to work with them. And that's the biggest thing is, we have we're trying to provide more coach benefits for our coaches to help them run their business more effectively.
Summit, it looks like. I was on your website here. You've got a coaching summit coming
We
up?
do, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So an annual coach summit, this is going to start. And again, this is another perk of being involved with the Motorcycle Industry Council. This month, actually, in February 20, we have an in-person coach summit, and it's we're bringing keynote speakers in to talk to our coaches and help them become better business people, better coaches, and work with each other, network with each other. So that'll be in Arlington, Texas this month, and we're really excited to get everybody together again.
You've got some pretty heavy hitters in here, like you said, and it looks like you've even got some professional development by Sam Danzler, Garage Composites, so that's pretty neat. Sam, and he's works with a lot of dealers and kind of understands those kind of personal relationship type development things. So yeah, I think that's going to be great.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about this. A reason why one of the other benefits for our coaches is our insurance. Insurance has been a big issue in our industry, and this is something that I wanted to raise awareness of because we have insurance. We have 2 different policies that we offer our coaches. So one is a secondary policy, so it's more of an umbrella, but more of our track day organizations require this. So the track day organization holds the primary policy, and they require anybody that coaches at their track day to be certified and insured and hold their own policy. So that's one option that we offer, and then we have another option through the AMA. Where they can charter their business, sanction their training event, and become have their full primary policy through the AMA. So we have coaches that utilize both in processes, but it's been really successful for us to be able to provide that, and that's a great benefit that we offer our coaches. So we are working to expand on that.
Have it, it's unfortunately, I think you see a lot of tracks and stuff struggle because they aren't able, if they can't get the insurance and they can't, and that you have to have it in this day and age, to move ahead. So that's a big thing to have for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been great and enlightening. I like to have people on that I can learn from. I hope our audience got something out of it, but I know I did. So that helps me going forward. And, I think there's a lot to offer our readers, our audience, listeners that want to get involved either on a coaching side or as a dealership referring a coach from their dealership, I think are great. And your, kind of affiliation now with MIC is just going to add a whole nother layer of awareness, I think, because they've got the organization to help kind of elevate you guys. So, yeah.
Absolutely. We're really excited for this opportunity, and we're just going full speed ahead for 2026. So we're pretty excited.
Well, awesome. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you. And I really appreciate you having me on today. And and whatever, again, I'm always available. So thank you for your time.
Okay. Thanks. We'll hopefully see you out at a track sometime here.
Perfect.
All right.
If you like this podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. We also invite you to connect with us on powersportsbusiness.com.